Real Madrid dominates Borussia Dortmund and advances to the Club World Cup semifinals. Next up is PSG. We saw Xabi Alonso come out with the exact same formation as the previous match, with Gonzalo Garcia in the starting lineup over Kylian Mbappé. Massive decision that paid off 10 minutes into the game when Gonzalo Garcia scored the opener in an absolutely beautiful goal. We started with the same starting 11 as the previous match. There were some tactical changes that we saw. We started with a clear 4-4-2 with Tchouaméni playing that defensive mid profile. We started with Jude Bellingham in that attacking mid profile, a lot more central compared to the previous matches. And we saw Trent Alexander-Arnold playing a more defensive, tucked-in role, with Fran Garcia taking full advantage on that left-hand side with his pace, pushing forward and attacking the space. Now I want to start off with a clear man of the match performance, in my opinion, and that is Fran Garcia. I saw his pace and work rate be absolutely crucial on the left-hand side, where he threatened Borussia Dortmund time after time. By the 7th minute in the first half, Fran Garcia had 7 crosses into the box. In the 19th minute, we saw Trent Alexander-Arnold, our right back, cross the ball into Fran Garcia, our left back, to connect for that second goal. When was the last time that we saw our left back attacking the box with that pace and that precision? This is what a player like Fran Garcia adds when he has that attacking ability, when he has that pace to attack the space, but also to track back defensively, when he has that confidence that he lacked in the first season and we saw progressively improve in the previous season. And the close second man of the match is Arda Güler, who ended the match with 2 assists. Ability to deliver that killer pass, and he showed that today. The player who did disappoint today, in my opinion, is Vinicius Jr. We saw him be very wasteful in attack. We saw him get involved with the ball. We saw him dropping deep like he did in the previous matches, but he had a few opportunities that he could have capitalized on. The most important being in the 37th minute when he tried to chip from 30 yards out when he had the space to attack, or if he looked up, he could have at least had a shot on target. And these are the types of chances that need to be converted, because at the top level, for example, the next match versus PSG, you won't have many chances like that. That's something that Vinicius Jr. is going to have to pick up this season. In the 23-24 season and the season before that, Vinicius Jr. was absolutely clinical. We saw that decrease slightly the previous season. And again, we're hoping he can pick that up under Xabi Alonso. It's going to be a make or break season for Vini Jr. for 2 reasons. We need to know if he can play together with Kylian Mbappé. And 2, we need to know if he can pick up his level to the level that we saw in the previous 3 seasons. And the last important note that I have for this match is that we will be without Dean Huijsen for the match versus PSG. He did pick up a silly red card in the last minutes of the match, which means we'll likely see Rudiger with Raúl Asensio as the starting center back for the match versus PSG. One thing that's quite clear about Xabi Alonso is that he doesn't have a dedicated formation and tactical approach. He's a very flexible manager who can start off with a 4-4-2, who can start off with a 3-5-2, who can shift over to a 5-3-2, who can shift over to a 4-3-3. The opportunities with the starting lineup and the players that this Real Madrid squad has is absolutely endless, and he will absolutely capitalize on that and switch multiple formations, multiple tactical approaches throughout the match, depending on the scenario. We can all agree that our biggest issue last season was our defensive structure, and Xabi Alonso has tackled that in the first few matches. He's done it in various manners. Just in today's match, we saw this team defend with a 4-3-3 with Jude Bellingham pushing up forward as that false 9, Vini on the left-hand side, Gonzalo Garcia on the right-hand side. We saw this team defend with a 4-4-2 with Tchouaméni as that anchor on that defensive mid side. And we saw this team defend in a 5-3-2 with Valverde pushing back and having Trent pinch in as that right center back. And this is absolutely important because in today's modern day football, the game is approaching phases. Sometimes you need to adjust your tactical approach depending on your opponent. For example, we saw Adeyemi play as that second striker, and that's the reason why we saw Trent play a more defensive role. Adeyemi's pace and strength is to attack the space, and that was absolutely addressed by Xabi Alonso. In the attack, we saw this team attack with a makeshift 4-4-2 to a 3-5-2. Again, depending on the stage, depending on the opponent's positioning on the pitch. But one of the movements that we saw clear from the start was Fran Garcia pushing forward on that left-hand side, and we saw Jude Bellingham playing that more attacking mid-profile, and pushing into the box, where we know he's had the most success, at least under Carlo Ancelotti in the previous seasons. In the match, it will be important to see two things. One, whether Raul Asensio will substitute Dean Huijsen, and if that affects the tactical approach. And two, if Kylian Mbappé starts this match, and if he will pair with Vinicius Jr. or Gonzalo Garcia. In previous videos, I think the Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappé attacking duo needs some work, at least defensively, especially against the top teams. Now, something to note is that for the first time, we will be playing a team that has a solid 4-3-3 formation. If you look at the opponents that we've had this tournament under Xabi Alonso, a lot of the opponents that we've had played a 5-2-3 or 5-3-2 defensive approach. Now, we know Luis Enrique has a very solid team who has two center backs missing for the next match in Lucas Hernandez and Pacho. But what is that he will not shift from that 4-3-3 formation, and it'll be interesting to see how, when you see if Kylian Mbappé starts the match versus PSG. In my opinion, he will absolutely start the match. But one thing to note is Gonzalo Garcia is in the form of his life. He's the top goal scorer of the Club World Cup. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, Vini Jr. was slightly disappointing in today's match. I thought he was very wasteful with the opportunities that he had. And on the other hand, Kylian Mbappé came in and scored an absolute beautiful goal that turned out to be the winner and the decider for today's match. On the defensive side, Gonzalo Garcia also offers that high intensity and proper positioning that the duo of Vini and Mbappé typically lack when they play together. Let me know your thoughts. Will Kylian Mbappé be in the starting lineup versus PSG? And will we see Vini Jr. on the bench for the first time in the Club World Cup?